Okay, well...
I mean, there's no true tank, but Leona is kind of a true tank at the end of the game. Like,
exactly. So Jin has a lot of playmaking, and FlyQuest do have a lot of playmaking. They don't have a lot of damage for super later into the game, though. Like you're saying, though, Jin can have really good damage versus non-tanks. And if FlyQuest focus on the dragon stacking will pay off. Of course, this FlyQuest squad is looking a lot at these mid-game fights. They want to focus on dragon stacking.
As Inspired is going to wrap his way around. Looks like CFO are going to get off this dragon as Teleport is going to bring Bwipo in. Gen.G actually just going to waste no time, flashes away, but Bwipo might be able to get on top of him. The ulti not going to work out because Bwipo ate the CC, and that is first blood over to Inspired here. FlyQuest on the board. As the turret plates fall, a 14-minute first blood is not exactly the earliest, but the fact that they get a second Drake is huge.
They could teleport Quad to go answer the top wave as well. If they don't want to drop the top wave, send the Taliyah over there.
As the flash out, Curtain Call comes on in as, Master's just going to be able to pick that one up because Bwipo is not scared of turrets.
And again, it's such a critical timing for FlyQuest because they have to keep dragon stacking.
In FlyQuest's favor and those two dragons, man, like everything is coming up FlyQuest here in this game so far as Quad might be the first sign of it not quite working out. It's despite the flash, Honku still able to pick him up. The redemption comes down as well as we do see picture-in-picture that it should still be this Rift Herald going down. So they will be able to collect that one, and that is also going to be some feats of strength almost gotten towards as well, as Busio could be in trouble. Level 7 here, so he does have the unbreakable will, but he is still taking a lot of damage. These Sand Soldiers, man, they are really hurting. Not quite enough to get the kill onto the cow through the ulti.
Really good early flash from Honku. Preemptively flashes to gain the...
Two turrets immediately?
Yeah, they take that one down. Topside's going to go to Honku as well. But really good early flash from him to create the play. And Quad still flashing and dying is really going to put a bump here in the FlyQuest path. I think CFO, huge gold injection into those solo laners. This is a short story, though.
Yeah,
that's like a little picture book.
Yeah, this is the first. This is like baby's first book. You know, like it's not quite the fiendish codex. It's okay. Driver could be in a little bit of trouble here as Quad throws a whole bunch of rocks into his back. The seismic shove connects, and I think Quad wanted to let us know that the book's pretty good. Actually, it's not too bad.
Yeah, and he rides that one all the way to the pick. CFO, though, with 4 people. They're also going to answer with the last remaining outer turret that FlyQuest had standing.
Yeah. And Doggo is, of course, Valkyrieing forward into Busio as the slow comes through. Masu is in so much trouble. He has to get out of there. Does have the Curtain Call to follow up if there is going to be anything more, but takes the cannon. What does an Oyster Dragon look like? Oh, like a mountain drake. Oh, sorry, yeah.
Very
you just
similar,
told me what it was.
Very similar to a mountain dragon.
Except you have to know that inside the mountain, the Corki goes anywhere near him. It could be problematic, but he hasn't bought in quite some time. It's okay. Driver back in lane, maybe back in trouble again as Bwipo. We're going to try and take him down. There's the all out. See whether Driver can actually survive this one. Deadly Flourish will be avoided. There's the Curtain Call as Driver desperately trying to get out of here, but I don't think he's going to be able to do so. The last bullet doesn't connect, but Bwipo does have a Q. Manages to take that one down. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, because there were 2 that showed top, CFO have decided that it's time for Otacon, and then they decide it is too dangerous. Not a decision they often make, to be perfectly honest, as Rift Herald is going to be thrown into the mid lane. Shelly a little bit confused about where she is. We'll be able to wander towards... Things are very, very dark on this map right now. Busio is going to rotate his way down. CFO have all the information they need. This is just gone. And you were talking about the great experience crisis of the early game of this series. That might be mitigated as Doggo does get himself over the right side of the wall. Driver desperately wanted to do the same thing, but there's a little bit of brush, and FlyQuest realized that I think their only real option here is to try and push down mid.
You can tell FlyQuest were so confused there. They had no idea where CFO were because Bwipo just teleported to his own secondary tower when he was split pushing on top side and had finished up that top tower. FlyQuest had no idea. They were completely bamboozled by that play from CFO, and then they saw them and they got the Otacon, announcement even. He still panics.
Yeah.
He thought people were coming for him.
We did manage, like the feats of strength did go over to FlyQuest. They at least managed to lock that one in. So it's not end of the world or anything like that. And they should be able to get this early setup. Masu already 50% of his health bar taken away as Doggo's rockets are really starting to hurt Quad. Wrapping around the side, doesn't have the Weaver's Wall up just yet. There's now Driver on that flank angle, checking for Inspired, who should be able to get himself in here. We'll see whether they want the turn or whether they want to get themselves the Dragon. FlyQuest moved their way in though, Inspired biding his time to make sure he gets in at the opportune moment. Solarflare goes entirely wide as Inspired gets his way in there. Junja having to flash his way out though. Seismic shove gone wide, Equalizer is down. Not doing too much though, as we can see. As the Drake already low as well, the exhaust comes on down. Whippo gets into that backline. Kaiwing's in a little bit of trouble, and down goes the Xin Zhao. That's going to be the Drake going over FlyQuest. Pick up the soul point, but have they found the fight? Driver still wanting to try and burn them as Hongq gets on in there. There is Whippo looking for the angle. Emperor's Divide though will be his shutdown, and it's Doggo that picks up the kill. Look at these health bars. Doggo desperately wanting another Valkyrie, but he will not be able to get in there. And FlyQuest gets soul point, and they get relatively out of there. Doggo only has one mode, doesn't he? He's just
I love
going
it.
in.
It's attack mode.
Yeah.
It is so fun to watch.
Every champion can be Draven, as it turns out.
Especially when he has double summoners. He plays so aggressively with them. CFO, though, once again, they start up the Baron. They're trying to force FlyQuest into this early.
My god, Hongq is doing so much damage to this objective. FlyQuest is going to have to make a decision. Teleport is going to come through from Whippo as they get a nice knock up onto Kaiwing. He's thrown back with a shove. Equalizer goes down, though, and Quad is just dead. An overextension, as we can see, is now Junja goes in. Busio, the next one to fall, paying for his mid laner's sins, as Doggo is, of course, flashing forward. It's Whippo to go down one more time as he tries to all out his way to safety, but that is not going to stop CFO from taking this Baron and getting a big lead. Never mind, though, it's Kaiwing that's going to go down first. Inspired collects that, but Emperor's Divide pulls him back, and they'll trade jungle for support after the end of that fight, and CFO should be able to get the Purple Worm as a reward.
The last massacre that we just witnessed, and so it's a level 17 Azir with a big lead. Junja, though?
Yeah, Junja is in a little bit of trouble, able to flash out of the way of the Seismic Shove, and there's not a whole lot of damage available to take him out when his ultimate's running. As now Busio likely to just die. Driver will be slowed down, but it's Quad that's dead again! Oh, it's a disaster for FlyQuest. It's into the backline, goes Inspired, but I just don't know whether that was a great idea, as Doggo's going to be able to take him down while he's trying to ult him into the sky. And CFO, this could be them just marching up the mid lane and taking out the first inhibitor of the game.
Yeah, I think they might destroy quite a bit of the FlyQuest base here with the Baron buff still on for a long time here. They get to continue pushing in. Inhibitor down. You also see Junja pushing in on the bottom side wave, but he's going to run right past it and look for the end.
Well, we'll see whether they can do it right here, right now. There are two Siege Minions making it so difficult. The curtains have been called. I don't know whether they're for CFO. They will be able to stay alive. So FlyQuest, they do survive the push here, but CFO have broken open the base. They take an inhibitor turret on the bottom side as well. Hongq deals with that one, and now on their way out, they'll be able to collect another Mountain Drake, meaning that that soul is ever further away once again. And I would say 6K is a pretty good Rebel Baron power play. We were talking about keeping your eye on that one. Yeah, that's good. Good number.
Yeah.
When you're feeling down and out, just find a spot to stand as Vi so you can kill the guy that does the damage.
This is
the pushing play.
This is solo queue. You go and get an enemy camp.
Well, this is going to be an enemy team that CFO are looking for. Busio does have the Unbreakable Will, and he's going to need one if they want to stay alive in this game. And oh, not just a camp, that's a crab.
I mean, Alice, people call it different things.
But now the wraparound has happened. It's not only a rage clear, it might also be Driver going down, but he does spot him here. Inspired, not quite with the surprise play that he wanted, but it's the all-out to bring them underneath the turret. Junja is going to be the first one to go down, as Doggo is, of course, over the wall. Hongq goes golden as the Solar Flare is going to interrupt that curtain call. As, my God, how did Doggo do that much damage? That was disgusting, but still, he is now dead. I think Fly is still alive.
And so they're going to continue to do it.
Yeah, Driver could be in a whole lot of trouble. The wall comes down. I don't think this Rumble is going to survive, and he doesn't think so either, as he ults the wave to make sure that he can at least get something. But these little picks, all of these dents in the tempo, are getting Fly back into the game, because you deny yourself gold and stuff. Do you need to do that?
And
it's been a while.
Well, their wave clear is not the best. We'll see about the teleport out. I say just keep on fighting.
Well, that's exactly what they're going to do, as Junja, once again, potentially in trouble, does now have Hongq and Kaiwing in the area. As the knockback from Buppo, there is another kidnap, like you said before, but it's going to be flashed this time. Blast Cone makes things problematic. Oh, the rocks go down. Honkyu, so much trouble, but still the damage is there because Doggo shows up. Massive amounts to come on through, but it's already 2 for FlyQuest. Doggo trying to survive against Buppo. He flashes over the wall and picks up a double, but Fly still able to win the fight, and it should be the Baron.
Baron is alive. It is. Okay, Doggo's still alive, though. You have to respect Doggo. The bait here very quickly. They know it takes FlyQuest way too long to do the Baron, so they're not running into it.
Yeah, Weaver's Wall goes down. I mean, they left a control ward there, but the Equalizer is still going to do so much work as the Baron, they're still on it. The spikes are really hurting. Inspired, still lower and lower, and Doggo wanting that wraparound. Driver gets in there with the flamethrower, and there's Doggo! It is going to be the Baron secured by FlyQuest, but can they keep anyone else alive? The Emperor's Divide comes in, it's a double in the end for Doggo, and so there are a few Barons left up here for FlyQuest, but there's no people.
Yeah, there's only an Alistar and a Cassante to defend the base. CFO are going to come, and they're going to try and finish.
All right, let's see whether they can make that one happen as Honkyu shifts some sands to get himself towards Buppo, whose health bar is extraordinarily large. Driver looking for the flanking Busio, and Junju's going to catch him because he's walking up mid lane to get back to his team. He's holding the wave. It's the Marn strategy yet again, but I just don't know whether it's really going to work. Standing stalwart to stop the end of the game.
Yeah, it does buy them some time. Triple Mountain Dragons now picked up for CFO. But FlyQuest live a bit longer here. We'll ask Driver about that one in the next fight.
I felt it coming. And I'm glad
I know. I didn't even want to do it.
I know. It felt like you had to.
I did, exactly.
Now you know how I feel every day with every dumb joke that I make.
Biggest difference, though, of course, extra full item on both CFO carries. So they have so much power here, but FlyQuest...
Whippo going in, there's the wall as well. Quad, though, keeping himself relatively safe this time as Honkyu goes golden. Seismic shove is going to be avoided with the flash, but Whippo picks him up, but he's not going to be able to withstand the Emperor's Divide. Into the backline goes Inspired. Busio's there. They need to kill Honkyu, and down he goes. Quad's getting flashed on, though, by Driver, who's looking to burn down Masu. Doggo's still alive as well, and the rest of CFO have dealt with the other onslaught on the other side of the fight. Down goes Inspired as Junja with full health is going to be able to make his way out. Now they're pinging on the mid lane, but I think a Mountain Soul might be coming in first.
That's the Soul for sure. Quad and Masu were at the very least able to take down Driver. So that is both solo laners that have been killed on the side of CFO. Now though, there's a ward behind Baron that saw FlyQuest go over to this. So this desperate play from Quad and Masu, it is known to CFO, and they're not going to let him get away with it.
Yeah, Doggo will be able to spot them out here. There is the Mountain Soul to come on in as Doggo walks on forward. Sees Quad at extraordinarily low health. They're going to see whether they can get themselves out. It is just one auto, and Quad will die. Gives him the thumbs up, but isn't able to kill him. And the Blast Cone for the disengage. These inhibitors may not have much longer, but we'll see. This bottom one's certainly going to go down as Whippo looking like he's defending this. Wind becomes lightning, comes through. Man, that health bar on the Cassante is so massive. But these inhibs are still going to go down. The flank angle there from Inspired. He still wants to look for it as they're under Nexus turrets now. Driver wanted to see what's going on. I believe spotted him just there. The first Nexus turret going to be lying on the floor. They need to pull the trigger if they want to stop CFO from taking this. But you can see they're playing so carefully as CFO not wanting to take any undue risks. As Seismic Shove will be Sonya's. And there is the Emperor's Divide as well. Honkyu keeps himself alive. They're still desperately trying to get on top of him, but it does not work. The young player is able to say no to FlyQuest and will now be able to take down the Nexus. It took a little longer than we may have expected, but the Oysters strike first.
CFO finished the job in game number 1. FlyQuest scrambled and made them work for it, but in the end...
And I've just been non-stop impressed by Doggo. It feels like he's rarely stepping a foot wrong.
He keeps impressing, and he might have one more foot to go, and then he's in the quarterfinals. Azale, a rally cry for your boys.
All right.
Well, it's probably going to be a lane swap again, and that makes me feel even more worried because we saw what he did there on the top side of the map. We'll see whether it can be another early cash in here for Doggo. Going to pick up some terrain, but Reset on the Grump. This might be a little bit over-enthusiastic here by Ginger.
Yeah, I mean, for Smite Bites, Rock Q for Kiana is very good.
Dear. Here's the dive, 2v2, the flash forward from Doggo, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Masu, he flashes away. There's a stand aside, and there's also a kill in the mid lane. What the heck is going on? It's another one as Rest gets the feats of warfare, and CFO just won everywhere on the map.
Yeah, it's a 1,500 gold lead for CFO once again. So they're going to sacrifice bottom side turret plate money to the Rex side then, and Junja wants to come in and use his smite.
Well, they're looking for an angle. Supreme Display of Talent does come down as Junja keeping himself alive there with the ulti. The rest of CFO move over, and that is going to be all three of the grubs in the hands of FlyQuest. Nicely done, standing their ground, making sure that CFO don't get anything that they're not allowed to have. As you say, though, Rest is able to answer with that cross map in the bottom lane.
Yeah, that was 2 turret plates that the Rek'Sai is able to earn, as well as minions that were denied as the tower killed them off with nobody around. So FlyQuest investing decently heavy into getting these Void Grubs.
Masu throws down the culling. That is going to allow FlyQuest to stay at least within touching distance of the amount of health that CFO does have.
They could do a realm from mid. Honkyu has Realm Warp. If they Realm Warp over, that could be 4 people diving FlyQuest, and they're going to do it.
Yep, the Realm Warp is going to come in. Junja looks to turn up. Honkyu, that's so much damage already. Why is this Ryze doing so much work? As Masu in so much trouble, the Pop Blossom is going to connect onto Busio. Another cash in, and it's a double for Doggo. 5-1 the kill score, and with 3 of those kills on this Draven.
So he didn't have that to create the extra time for the teleport from Quad to come in. Quad's teleport gets nothing. Inspire trying to finish off the Dragon in time, but...
Yeah, it's a 2v2 here. Dragon and Rest against Inspired and Bwipo, and it's the flash out from Inspired to get him to safety. Rest just feeling like he can do anything that he wants here in this bottom lane on this Rek'Sai, and it's already a 2,000 gold lead. Make that about 2.2 just for the Draven alone.
All right. They're just getting turret plates all over the map at the moment.
I think it's a garage sale or something like that. All right, there's another one here, but maybe they can kill Bwipo at the same time. He gets knocked up. Junja turns up as well. And now Killer is going to be put down, and the ulti comes on through for Rest. Tries to get himself out of the way. Junja was tanking the turret. Bwipo is pretty tanky, so they're not going to be able to kill him. Great Bubble is going to catch the Rek'Sai as he tries to flee, and this time Busio has the wave and takes down the Rek'Sai. FlyQuest answering back. Now with no turret plates, this turret is under a lot more threat, and especially with a big old Draven there, they will be able to take that one down. Second turret here for CFO as they keep this snowball a-rolling. Bwipo, a little trouble. You can see Rest looking worse for wear as well.
You know, the history here of this region, and then being so proud of Flash Wolves. Wait a second.
Yeah, the flash in from Inspired still gets the stun onto Honkyu, but the phase rush as he gets out of the way. Supreme Display of Talent is what he was looking for, but he fails to dodge it. And the shutdown money goes to Inspired.
FlyQuest scraping together some mid-game kills.
Because they have a very large Draven and the will to do so. Should be this Rift Herald going down, and that is the eye collected by Inspired. So there we go, the pendulum swings once again, now back towards FlyQuest. Everything needs to be, we're moving into the enemy jungle, we're ready to dive, we're ready to try and get kills. Understanding the longevity of the comp isn't necessarily what they're thinking about, as that is going to be Junja, able to even out these dragons. This is, you're in a turret, that is so much money. Over to CFO, it's a Cloud Soul this game as well, we love to see that. FlyQuest unable to defend, I'll just leave Bwipo to deal with the rest of these minions.
Yep, CFO keeping up the pressure, assisted,
yep.
But it was constant pressure from the opening of the game, and that has been true for CFO as we see them take another tower here. Again, pushing with all lanes. They are not relenting.
Yeah, it's the power identification from this team that is pretty impressive. This, not so much, as a Supreme Display of Talent and just a cheeky Q from Inspired, and he will be able to just kill Honkyu. That was a choice.
Another quick kill for FlyQuest. Yeah, I mean, there's 2-item Kiana. Inspired does a lot of burst damage. He has no more ultimate now.
I've seen this movie before, the one that's happening in the top lane, so we are going, no, we are back here, and he's dead again. It's the same movie. It's on repeat.
Profane Hydra, baby. 2-item power spike for Kiana.
And I do not blame him based on what has happened over the last 6 or so minutes of this game. I think his Azir was absolutely phenomenal in the last game, but this Ryze has been targeted. And it wasn't actually the Dragon that they were looking for, it was the Otacon instead, down to 50% here as Gen.G puts his own pillar down as they want to take out Tibbers before this fight is going to break out. But I mean, there just aren't very many people here for CFO. It'd have to be a steal as now Rest looking for that angle, trying to find the knockups here as out he goes as Doggo just takes down Quad. They're all starting to explode and now he presses W, runs forward. Masu trying to get out of there. The axe from downtown and he gives the thumbs up as he looks to chase out Masu here. There it is, grabs the triple and Doggo on this Draven looking like it won't be adding to that 10 column.
The Realm Warp Nico ultimate, beautiful engage from CFO. Hongq is able to get Kaiwing right on top of FlyQuest, and they take down every last member. Clean ace.
Oh my goodness, CFO busy trying to count them out here, and it looked like with that Rift Herald they might be able to make the play, but it wasn't the case, and CFO now move 7.5 thousand gold. They're gonna grab themselves this next Dragon as well as Hongq. Gonna try and get some revenge here as Inspired is lying in wait. Looks like Hongq's not gonna be pushing too far forward. That's a lot of gold there for that Draven. Now with a 4.5 thousand individual lead. Rest seems to have found Quad here, who's looking to clear out this minion wave underneath the turret to avoid that one falling down to the Rek'Sai. And CFO just moved back towards this Baron. Cheeky little ward there is actually unseen as now the Pillar is doing great work against Whippo once again. Good double knock up though as he finds the ulti onto 2. That is going to be another Pop Blossom connecting though out of Kaiwing. He finds the double as Whippo able to make his way up, but Doggo finds that last act. Supreme display of talent doesn't work at all, and Doggo keeps himself alive because like you say, this guy's a tank on the Draven. Boostio's turned into fish food. It's another multi-kill here as the ace comes in for CFO, and it is clean once again.
And they are looking to finish their 2-0 and move on to quarterfinals.
And I've made a lot of ending calls about decades and things like that before. Here is another one as CFO are gonna do it after 10 years, making it to the top 8 here at Worlds 2025 after their extraordinary years so far. It only gets better for the Oysters.